Fifth grade math students. Today is March 30th. It is Monday. If you go to today's website, you'll see that there are 2 assignments that you need to do. The first one is the mid-chapter checkpoint. So you're going to go ahead and look back at your notes. If you've been taking notes during our Zoom or copying down what I've had on the website, you can use any of your notes in your book, page 381 to 382. You're going to send this through email. You can take a picture of it or put it in a Google Doc. And then part 2 is a Google form provided below. You're going to go right down here. You're going to click on that Google form. And yes, this has to be done on the Google form. So all you have to do is click on the Google form. Okay? Once you click on the Google form, it will open. Make sure you switch accounts. So you just click there, switch account. It'll ask you if you click on it. It'll ask you to log in. You'll see a page like this, but it'll probably have your name because it just has my names here. Okay, homeroom, that's red or blue. Number, date. You don't have to put the date actually, just name and number. And then you're just going to answer these 10 multiple choice questions. When you're done, hit submit. Okay, if you need to do any work, just do it on scratch paper and then put in your final answer. On your mid-chapter checkpoint that starts on page 381, the first 2 questions, you're just writing in the answer. Okay. 3, 4, 5. Notice it says estimate. So you need to estimate each number. Remember, 0, half, or 1 are your benchmarks for estimating. So make sure you estimate, then add, and just put your estimated answer. Make sure you pay attention if you're adding or subtracting. Because I am just going to mark things incorrect because you're not following directions. If you don't estimate, I'm just going to mark it incorrect. If you subtract instead of adding or adding instead of subtracting, I'm just going to mark it incorrect because we need to start following directions. Right here, this part here, 6, 7, 8, use a common denominator to write an equivalent fraction for each fraction. All you are doing is finding a common denominator of 6 and 9. So for example, 54. So what do you multiply 6 to get to 54? 9. So then 9 times 1 would be 9 over 54. Over here, change it to 54. That'd be times 6. So this would be 6 over 54. So you're just finding the common denominator, a common denominator of any of these, and then changing them so they have that denominator. For 9, 10, 11, it's very similar to what you just did up here, except you're finding the least common denominator. So you're going to find the least common denominator for those and then changing those 2 fractions that are provided there. Okay, and then now 12, 13, 14, this is where you're actually adding or subtracting, and then write your answer in simplest form. Okay, so 11, 18 once, change it to have a common denominator and then subtract. 2 sevenths plus 2 fifths, change it to have a common denominator and then add. 3 fourths minus 3 tenths, change it to a common denominator, and then subtract. Okay, over here you have a word question. Mrs. Vargas bakes a pie for her book club meeting. The shaded part of the diagram below shows the amount of pie left after the meeting. That evening, Mr. Vargas eats 1/4 of the whole pie. What fraction represents the amount of the pie remaining? So basically what you're doing is taking the shaded part and then taking away 1/4. Okay, so hint, you're going to have to find a common denominator. 16, fraction of the whole sandwich does Keisha bring back from the picnic? Again, make sure you're reading, knowing what you might be adding or subtracting. I'm not going to tell you. And then same thing for 17. So for the key thing for this back page is you need to read each question and know what it is asking you. You might have to estimate. You need to read it if it says so. You might be adding, you might be subtracting. The only way to know is to read. Okay, so going back to what you have to do today. Okay, so first you're going to complete the mid-chapter checkpoint, which I just went over all the directions for it. Okay, you can do this right on the paper and then send that to me. Okay, so that's the one thing you will send to me. And part 2, you're going to open up the Google form down here. You're going to put your answers right into this Google form and then hit submit, and then that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me.